I found an old voicemail from my dad. He died 5 years ago. I thought I had moved on. I really did. Losing my dad was the worst thing that ever happened to me. But grief fades in strange ways. You never really get over it. You just learn to live with the absence. That's why, when my phone lit up with a new voicemail from Dad, I nearly dropped it. I was at home, half watching TV, when the notification popped up. My breath hitched. My heart slammed against my ribs. This had to be a mistake. His number had been disconnected years ago. I knew because I had called it more times than I'd like to admit, hoping to hear his voice on the old voicemail recording. But eventually, the line just went dead. Yet, there it was. A new message. I hesitated before pressing play, dread curling in my stomach like a living thing. Then I heard it. A crackle of static. A long pause, and then his voice. "Hey bud, it's me. Silence. A low humming sound, then a deep, shuddering breath. "I don't have much time." My whole body went cold. The voice was his, but something was wrong. It sounded distant, warped, like it was coming from a bad connection, or somewhere else entirely. "Listen, you need to be careful. I tried to warn you before, but you couldn't hear me. It's getting closer." I couldn't breathe. "Don't go near the mirror tonight, no matter what you hear." The message cut off. Just static. No number, no callback option. I sat there, phone clenched in my shaking hands, heart hammering in my chest. This was impossible. It had to be a sick joke. And then from down the hall, I heard it. A faint tapping sound, coming from the bathroom mirror. At first, I refused to move. I stayed on the couch, staring at the phone, as if the screen would somehow offer me an explanation. But the tapping sound continued. Soft, deliberate. I checked the time. 2:13 a.m. Who the hell would be messing with me at this hour? I swallowed hard and stood up, every step toward the hallway feeling heavier than the last. My legs felt stiff, my body resisting, as if something deep inside me already knew what was waiting. The bathroom door was slightly open. The light inside flickered, casting long, shifting shadows across the floor. My breath came in shallow gasps as I reached for the knob, hesitated, then slowly pushed the door open. The mirror was fogged over, despite there being no steam. The tapping had stopped. I stood there, gripping the edge of the sink, my reflection barely visible in the hazy glass. My mind screamed at me to leave, to shut the door, to pretend none of this was happening. But something else, a deeper, gnawing curiosity, kept me frozen. Then, right before my eyes, the condensation on the mirror moved. A streak formed, like someone was dragging a finger through the fog. My breath hitched. Another streak, then another. I took a step back. The streaks weren't random. They were forming letters. "Help me." My stomach lurched. My father's voice echoed in my head. "Don't go near the mirror tonight." And then, just as the words finished forming, the mirror cleared. And I saw it. Not my reflection. Not exactly. It was me. Same face, same features, but wrong. My reflection's eyes were hollow, sunken. Its skin looked pale, stretched too thin, and its mouth was slightly open, lips moving soundlessly. And then it blinked. Not at the same time as me. It was watching me. Independently. I stumbled back, knocking over the soap dispenser, my heart racing. The reflection didn't move. It just stared, its lips still forming silent words I couldn't hear. The tapping started again. From inside the mirror. I bolted, slamming the door shut behind me. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely lock it. My phone buzzed violently in my pocket. I fumbled for it, expecting another voicemail, but when I glanced at the screen, my stomach twisted into knots. The notification simply said, "One missed call. Dad." I didn't sleep that night. I kept the lights on, phone clutched in my hands, waiting for another sign. But nothing else happened. No more tapping, no more messages. Just silence. By morning, I had almost convinced myself that it had been a stress-induced hallucination, a glitch, a cruel coincidence. Almost. Until I worked up the courage to check the bathroom. The mirror was normal. No fog, no messages, no eerie reflection mimicking me wrong. I let out a shaky breath, feeling a small sense of relief. Then I noticed something on the counter. My phone. I knew I had left it on the nightstand. Slowly, with ice in my veins, I picked it up. The screen was unlocked, open to my call history. The missed call was gone. In its place was a new voicemail. I stared at it for what felt like hours before finally pressing play. Static. A long, shuddering breath. Then, "I told you not to look. I don't know what's happening. I don't know if I'm losing my mind. But I've started noticing things. The mirror doesn't fog up when I shower anymore. My reflection, sometimes out of the corner of my eye, moves just a fraction of a second too late. And last night, I swear I heard it whisper my name. I tried covering the mirror with a sheet. This morning, the sheet was on the floor, folded neatly. My phone just buzzed again. Another voicemail. I don't want to listen. But I think, no matter what I do, I think it's already listening to me.